Hey Tay Tay, well it's your good old Auntie Tan Tan here with another video for you. Now we're going to talk about left reverse parking. Less steps than reverse parallel parking. This is one of the easier maneuvers, and I actually find this easier than forward parking. I prefer to do this than to forward park myself, and you'll notice that with your dad as well. This is for left reverse parking. So if we look at our car park over here, if we're approaching from this way and then we're going to park to the left into this bay, there's also right reverse parking, which is you're approaching this way and then you want to come across the lane and reverse park into that side. You can do either or, it really doesn't matter. What's available is what's available. With left reverse parking, we've got the instruction here to line up your wing mirror with line 3. So line 3, as you're approaching, you've identified that you want to park here. The furthest line away is going to be line 1. And you're going to come up and you're going to line up your wing mirror here with line 3. So you count them out, 1, 2, 3 as you're driving up. And it's 2 car bays away. It probably looks quite far away from that car bay, but as we were talking about this morning, the turning circle of the car is quite big and you need a lot of room to perform the maneuver. So you line up the mirror with line 3, make sure there's a 1 meter gap with you and the car bay over here, and I'll explain that in a second. Once you're all ready to go, you enter reverse, you roll 30 centimeters, look all around you, make sure you're safe, make sure you turn your body and look out the back. And you go into full lock left. You're going to roll basically until you're straight in the bay. Then you straighten the wheels and you're in the bay. Very simple maneuver, just takes practice. So what that looks like is we're in the shopping center. As you're driving in, sometimes you have the luxury of having a lot of room in the car park, but quite often it's going to be quite tight. What you want to be mindful of is as you're approaching, We've identified line 1, we're going to park here, we're going 1, 2, and 3. You want to make sure you're leaving at least a 1 meter gap here, right? And you've lined up your wing mirror with line 3. So the reason for that gap is the mistake people quite often make is they come up too close, and then once they're swinging in, they're already coming into this bay here. So we want to leave a lot of room. So we're up here. We're lined up our wing mirror with line 3. Then we're going to reverse back 30 centimeters. It's hard not to get in the way here, so I'll do my best. So we're going to roll 30 centimeters. And you can see here, there's still quite a bit of room here before we get into this bay. My car's a little bit shorter, but the idea is just to get a little bit of a roll happening. And then you're going to go into full lock left. Right, so as you go into full lock left, and a lot of the time you're going to feel like, oh, I'm not going into that bay. But as I said, the turning circle of the car is really big. I haven't quite drawn this properly because the car's quite short compared to these bays I've made, but that's the general rule. And just have practice with it and you'll see what I'm talking about. Typically, you just stay in full lock until you're straight in the bay. And then you straighten the wheels and you just come straight back in. And that's about it. So, as I said, my diagram's a bit off, but if you follow those rules, typically you'll have a good result. It just depends on how wide the bays are. So what you can do, like say you've rolled 30 centimeters and then you've gone into full lock and you're coming back and you're just like, oh, I actually am quite far away. Just straighten the wheels up a little bit, roll back further, and then try and make your way into the bay there. It doesn't look so good on my diagram, but you'll see what I'm talking about once you practice it. If we want to do a reverse park to the right, it's actually quite good because you've got all this room here to complete the maneuver, and it's basically the same thing. As you approach, let's say we want to park in this bay here. So then the furthest line away of the bay, and I'll just mark the bay here. That's the bay we want to go into. And I'll just move my camera over a little bit. So we've identified the bay we want to go into. The furthest line of the bay is line 1, and then we're lining up our wing mirror with line 3. So we go up all the way, and again, we just roll, we get into reverse, all of that. We looked around, we made sure it's safe. So then we roll 30 centimeters, full lock right, and as we're coming back and we've got a giant turning circle of that car, we should be able to be nice and snug into that bay, and then we straighten the wheels up, and then you just go, whoops, straight back in. And that's about it. So it just takes practice. As I said in the previous video, adjust as necessary. So, you know, if you're a little bit off and you're way over here, you just drive back out, keeping in mind where the back tires are at all times. So sometimes we misjudge, we're over here. We want to focus on getting the back tires out, straightening up, and then coming back in properly. And that's that. I'll make another one for you. The next one's going to be your forward parking.